Please subscribe to our channel by pressing the subscribe button and the bell icon to receive updates on new videos.
Sri Yatirajaya Vivekananda Sivali Sachit Sukha Sarupaya Swami Tapahani Mukam Karoti Vachalam Angum Nandheti Giri Yat Krupa Tamaham Paramananda Madhavam. Just to recapitulate the essence of the chapter, we help ourselves, not the world, that we discussed in the last class. Swamiji says there, we cannot help the world, we help only ourselves. The world is not in need of our help. It is perfectly fitted to meet its ends. It is neither good nor bad in itself. It is perfectly fitted to meet its ends. What it implies? It is neither good nor bad. We make our own world, Swami says. It is perfectly fitted to meet its ends means the world actually is perfect in that sense. In what sense? It has a purpose, that is to educate ourselves. It's a moral gymnasium. See, there are a good number of people who are very hopeful that this world is full of suffering and sorrow. There will come a time, the idea of millennium, where everybody will be happy and there will be a perfect world. And Swamiji actually trying to dispel this delusion that the world is not perfect. It can never be perfect. There is no such thing as perfect world. By trying to perfect the world, we perfect ourselves. Perfection is not out there. So once you know this, you will not become a fanatic. Otherwise you will fret and fume. When you engage yourself in work, you wanted to do work in a particular way, you won't be able to do. There are many hurdles. So many obstacles will come. Not everybody will cooperate with you. You become a fanatic because people are not helping you. You will fret and fume and you will get frustrated because you have not achieved your objectives. You are not able to achieve. So many obstacles are coming. But once you know that the world can never be made perfect, okay, there is no such thing as perfect world. That's what Swamiji meant when he said that the world is perfectly fitted to meet its ends. The world's purpose is to educate our soul, to educate ourselves. Elsewhere he says that world is like a dog's curly tail. You can't straighten it out. But in trying to straighten it out, you perfect yourself, you straighten out yourself. Okay? The world is always a mixture of good and evil. That is its nature. The some quantum of good and some quantum of evil that is there in the world is fixed. Then why should I work then? If I cannot increase the quantum of good in the world, then why should I work? The question will arise. Not to help the world as such, but to help yourself. Okay, that's what Swami says. We help ourselves. That's why he says, "Oh beggar, oh take this." You just don't throw a few rupees at his face, okay, as if you are superior to him. Rather, be thankful to that beggar because he has allowed you to practice your kindness and benevolence. You could practice your compassion. You could practice your mercy because there is a person who is lower than you in terms of money. God has given you little more money. It's a privilege. It's a blessing. So you are helping your less fortunate brother. And do that with utmost humility because he has helped you to cleanse your heart. Had he been not there, had he been just like you, how could you grow in terms of mercy and compassion, which actually ultimately bring you closer to the Lord? So you need to be grateful to him. So it's not the receiver who is blessed, but it's the giver who is blessed. By allowing you to practice charity, he has helped you. So don't expect even gratitude from that individual. So you don't have the right even to expect gratitude from the individual who have been benefited by you. So it's very important that you understand this. Once you know this, he will go on doing good to you, to the world. Okay? But you don't become a fanatic because I wanted to do this much, but I could not do. You will never have frustration because the world, after all, is not in need of your help or my help. Okay, it's all God has created it. It's His responsibility how the world should be, how it should be conducted, how it should be in different times for we to decide. But does that mean that we should not do any good and we just see as a mute spectator? No. You will try as best as you can to alleviate the suffering of the people. But at the same time, you will not become a fanatic because you know you are only a tiny being. How much of good you can do to this world? What are we? How can we perfect the world? So we cannot perfect the world. World is the way it is, the way it need to be. So by trying to perfect, by trying to increase the good in the world, we perfect ourselves. That's what Swamiji meant when he said that the world is perfectly fitted to meet its ends. The purpose for which it is created, the way it is created is fine. Because it's a purpose that is to help ourselves, to help us perfect ourselves. So whenever you engage in charity, you should have this kind of attitude. So the world is not in need of your help. By trying to help the society or the world or your fellow human beings, you are helping yourself spiritually. You are expanding your consciousness. You are coming closer to the truth. You will go beyond the limitation of the physical and the psychological. Anything that is physical and the psychological is actually a limitation. There cannot be any perfection that which is physical and psychological. That which is perfect is beyond the physical and beyond the psychological. That is spirit. So that is consciousness. Equilibrium exists only at the level of spirit, at the level of consciousness. The universe is by nature disequilibrium. By nature it's a chaos and it can never be perfect. And the good thing about our country today is everything external is chaos. It's good. Only when there is disequilibrium here, you seek God, you seek the equilibrium. So if everything is going perfectly here, will anybody seek the truth? No. The most actually, maximum inequilibrium exists here in this country, maximum chaos. Everything you just see around. Total frustration, you will get frustrated if you take the world seriously. Okay, once you know that this physical universe is by nature defective, in the sense it cannot be perfect ever. Anything that is physical, anything that is an aggregate of particles can never be perfect. Perfection belongs to the realm of consciousness only. Perfection belongs to the realm of spirit only. So by doing good actions, slowly, we will be able to transcend the limitation of the physical and the psychological that is imposed upon our soul. We are expanding. We are coming closer to the truth. We are coming closer to God. That is the opportunity. So don't ever think that you will be able to help the world. You can only help yourself by doing service or by doing help to your fellow human beings. This we need to understand. Then you will be quietly, you will do good work. You don't bother how much of good you have done. So many people today are saying this, Swamiji, there is so much of evil, how much we can remove. There is so much of power, how much I can remove. You don't bother how much you can remove. Just as much as that lies in your power, you do it. That's for your benefit. So by doing actually little good, actually what? Will it get transformed? Will the world will be transformed? Then why should I do good? People are asking such questions. No. It's not your responsibility. How much of good should be there, how much of evil should be there in the world. That is God's role, God's responsibility, because He has done the world and He has created the world. We are a small, tiny being. Just do the little help that you can, maybe to one person or 2%, it doesn't matter. And that will give some satisfaction, some joy to you. But if you just look at the whole world, and when there will be a situation when everybody is having everything that he or she needs, there is nothing like that. Never such a situation will ever come, however hard you might try. Okay, now in the present chapter, the chapter that we are going to study today, the secret of work, one of the beautiful chapters of Karma Yoga, the secret of work. So now it is fixed. Now actually we have understood that we need to help the society, that is to help ourselves. What kind of help you can render to the society? Okay, this has been established now. If you are in a position to help the world, you help. If you are not in a position to help the world, fine, don't condemn it and just be there. If somebody wants to help you, you just take the help. You are in a position to help the world. What is the best help that can be given to the society? Society is in need of help. There are so many people in the society asking for help. So what is the best help that you can do? So there are 4 kinds of help. The first is physical help. Somebody is hungry. You provide him a meal. Okay? He can satisfy his hunger for that day. Again, next day he will be hungry. Again, if he comes to you, you can help him if you can. Okay? This is physical help. Somebody is in need of clothing. You help with clothes. Somebody is in need of house. You help him build a house. They are all physical needs. Okay, that's also good help. Fine. But higher than this actually is medical help. Somebody is sick, he is not able to support himself. He wants some support from others. He wants medical treatment, medical help. You give him that medical help. Fine. But the higher than that is why he has come to you for medical help, because he has no money. But if you help him actually to get good education, he doesn't come to you if he in need of medical help, because he earns money on his own and he will go to hospital on his own. So by giving him education, by helping him stand on his feet, her feet, you will be helping him in a better way. So empowering the individuals with education and helping the people to support themselves, helping the people to stand on their own feet is a better help than just actually giving some money or arranging treatment. So higher than this, will that solve the problem of the individual? Again, he might fall sick, right? Okay, education also, it doesn't help, because that secular education that we take, unless and until the problem of death and the problem of want are solved, the suffering of the man will not get removed. So the highest help that we can do to the society is the spiritual help. Okay? Only at the realm of the spirit, perfection exists. And once actually a man knows he is a true being, attains to the self-realization, all his wants are actually removed. Thereafter, there is nothing for you to seek or to gain or to desire for. You have attained perfection. So anybody who is helping the world spiritually is doing actually immense good to the society. He is the greatest benefactor of mankind. But for example, today you see the Ramakrishna Math. We are doing all kinds of help. Okay, that is only to perfect ourselves, not to help the individuals as such. To perfect ourselves, we are here to perfect ourselves. Mission only provides a platform, an opportunity. For example, Annadana is being done every day. We feed about 200 to 250 people every day. So I can't actually give a philosophy talk to them. They are just hungry, that's all. Okay, instead of you, tomorrow if I can bring all the 200 people who are coming for food, if I can bring them here and give a talk on Karma Yoga, will they listen? Okay, will they listen? They will not listen, because they don't need it. They are not actually evolved enough to understand these concepts. Their immediate need is food. So we are giving them food. But just giving food, it actually is not real help. We just actually teach them a mantra. We ask them, take God's name for just 5 minutes or 2 minutes. A little samskara also is being given. And we are actually, the Human Excellence Institute is there, the School of Language. So many students are coming. We are actually helping them with education. We are giving some training in languages that will help them to get a good job. They will be able to stand on their own feet. They will help themselves. They don't come here for food. The idea is they should not come here for food. They will be able to earn on their own. There is a saying in English like, instead of giving a fish to a man, actually help him to catch the fish. So giving this education, whatever the language training or this training that is being imparted through Human Excellence, is to help the individual to stand on his or her own feet. And dispensary is there. If somebody is sick, they can't afford to go to hospitals, good hospitals, and they come here and our doctors actually serving them. So these are all very good. Because if somebody is sick, somebody has fever, again I can't ask him, you come and I will teach you Karma Yoga or I will teach you Jnana Yoga. Okay, I will help you to go beyond the body. It's not possible. A man who is sick cannot listen to a spiritual talk. A man who is hungry cannot listen to a spiritual talk. A man actually who is looking for employment desperately cannot hear a spiritual talk. Because that is his immediate need. Only that immediate need is satisfied, he will be able to go for the next. So Swamiji actually has created this organization in such a way that different people will be in need of different kinds of helps. And you help in whichever way that is possible. And if I say that all other service activity will close, only spiritual talks, spiritual discourses, and japa yajnas only will be conducted, nothing else in the mission. Okay, only you people will come. So all other people who are coming to the mat, they won't be able to come because they don't need this kind of service. So according as a person has evolved and you give them the help, the people are always in need of different kinds of help. The highest help is for sure the spiritual help, but not everybody is in need of spiritual help. Everybody is in need of spiritual knowledge because they have to evolve. Their basic needs are not satisfied. So you give that help to them because they are in immediate need of that. So why spiritual help is the highest help? Only when spiritual knowledge, man gains spiritual knowledge, the problem of want is solved once for all. The ultimate root cause of suffering for man is actually desire. Okay, only spiritual knowledge will help you to come out of that slavery. We are today in such slavery that we always desire something, thinking that we are incomplete by nature. But our philosophy says that you are complete by nature, not as mind, not as body, but as spirit. You are complete yourself. Then why this craving in me constantly to seek that, to seek this? That is actually because of Maya. You just stop that craving, you just curb that craving, you uproot that craving, and the mind disappears. Once the mind disappears, you are in nirvana. You are perfect. Then you understand that you neither need body nor mind for your existence. You exist as that infinite spirit. So the present existence is a degeneration. We have come into bondage. We have got the body, we have got the mind means, we have developed two inferior modifications on consciousness. So we don't need these two upadhis. They don't actually prove our real existence. Our real existence is behind these two and beyond these two. And to bring that dimension of a personality into our experience, we need to do karma yoga. That's what Swami says, detached action. Don't work like a slave, work like a master. In the sense, don't set your mind on the results of action. Once you set your mind on the results of action, you will become weak. What if I don't get the desired result? It instills fear in you. But once you become free from that expectation, okay, once you become free from expecting the result for your action, and you will be able to work like a lion. I don't care what result will come out of this action. I just work for the sake of work. And those individuals who will be able to work through love and through freedom, they will be able to turn out maximum work. You just see Vivekananda at 10 years, how much of work he could turn out. How could that be possible for a single individual? Because of this. He never had anything to expect from his action. He just worked in freedom and love, out of love for humanity and mankind. So this is how actually we will come out of the bondage in which we are now. So karma yoga is that science which helps us to attain to spiritual perfection through karma itself. There is no way we can get out of karma. As long as you have body and mind, you have to engage in some action. Thinking is also action. Okay? Only when you are perfectly free from action, thinking also, then you are in nirvana. To attain to that state, we have to go only through work, through karma. And this karma has the nature to entangle us, to bind us. If you do the action with attachment or with expecting the fruits of your action, it will actually entangle you more and more. Because every action has some kind of result, positive or negative. Both actually will have a binding effect on your soul. So, to help you to get out of this bondage creating nature of karma, we need to know how to do the work. That is actually the secret of work. So, among all the four kinds of work, four kinds of help that we can do mankind, Annadana, actually helping the people with food, or actually Pranadana, helping the people with medical service, or giving them secular knowledge, the highest help is by giving them the spiritual knowledge. Once the man has the spiritual knowledge and he attains spiritual perfection, he has no need with this world, he has become perfect, and all his wants are satisfied once for all. He has become complete. That means he has come out of the bondage of matter and the bondage of thought. Once you attain to that state, you don't need this physical world at all. But of course, that's the distant goal. Okay? But we must strive towards that through karma only, through action only. So how to make this action into karma yoga? How to make this karma into karma yoga? And that's what actually Swamiji discusses in these chapters. He says his ignorance is the root cause of all evil in the world and all suffering. There is suffering in the world. What is the root cause of that? Ignorance. Ignorance of what? Ignorance of our true nature only. Why we are engaged in action? Why we are engaged in action the way we are engaged? Why actually we expect the fruit of action? Why we can't work it through love and through freedom? Why actually we are not able to come out of this slavery? That is because we just think we are the body and mind. Swami says that's why the attachment comes. The whole of the nature is actually for the education of the soul, he says. They are all very loaded statements and I need your attention to understand this. The whole of the nature is for the education of the soul. Swamiji compares the whole of the universe with a book. Once you are done with the book, once you have read the book is no more useful to you. You have read the book and discard the book. The whole of the universe, through all the action, through all the experiences, we are gaining knowledge. Through every experience, we gain knowledge. And once you gain the perfect knowledge, complete knowledge actually, you don't need the universe. You will transcend the universe. You will attain nirvana. So the whole universe is a book and we are reading chapter after chapter, chapter after read. Birth after birth, birth after birth, through certain experiences that we gather in that particular birth, we learn certain knowledge. But that knowledge is not sufficient actually to help us get liberation. If not in this birth, next birth it will happen. But if you want that to happen in this birth itself, okay, You should learn to work like a master and not like a slave. And to get to this kind of detachment is not just like a one day thing. So it's a whole life's job. It doesn't happen all of a sudden because it has become so chronic, it has become a kind of disease with us to engage in action with only expecting the fruit. How can I engage in action without expecting any fruit of action? The people are asking. How can I, if I'm not interested in result, why should I work at all? You have to work, there is no other way. You are helpless in that way. Okay? You are a helpless machine. There is something like nature. The nature actually goads you, propels you into action. Not that you can just withdraw and just get established in samadhi at the highest state of meditation. I don't do any work. Even if I don't get food also, it's okay for me. Can anybody say that? Okay? Can you get established? The true state of yogis, they don't care even to preserve the body. See, the body is such an inferior modification. They don't even care because they are established in their spiritual state. That body is an unnecessary upadhi. They will be ever eager to drop that, this upadhi. As we have not developed that kind of dispassion and renunciation, okay, we have to evolve to that state gradually, and through action only, we must know how to engage in action. So learn this lesson from this Karma Yoga chapters. The important lesson that you need to learn is try to work like a master, never like a slave. Presently, we are all in slavery. We need to come out of that slavery. We need to get out of that slavery. And the next Swamiji proceeds to say that so every action that we perform creates an impression in the mind. For example, bad thought and negative thought. It doesn't just go out there. Okay, you just have thought and left it up. But it has created an impression in the mind. It may not actually be on the surface, but it goes into the subconscious mind and it actually starts working there. Every action that you perform and every thought that you generate also creates an impression in the mind. Constantly by thinking good actions and good thoughts, doing good actions and good thoughts. And a tendency is created. That is our character ultimately. A tendency is created in the individual to do good only. And there will come a point, because by constantly engaging in good action, the individual will be able to do good in spite of himself or herself. Because it has become a kind of second nature to you. And by thinking negative thoughts or bad thoughts, and by engaging oneself in wrong actions, evil actions all the time, that also becomes a samskara, that becomes your tendency, that becomes your character after a period of time. You will do evil in spite of yourself. That also becomes your tendency. So this is actually, action is just go there. Action is not a simple thing. It forms an impression there. Those impressions actually together create our character. Character means a particular mental disposition. You have a tendency to do good or to do evil. And by engaging in good actions, by actually generating good thoughts, actually, you will be able to turn out good all the time. But is it the end? Is this okay if you do only good actions? But Swami says here that no, that's not over. Good actions are also binding, just as, a golden chain is as much a chain as an iron one. Golden chain also, it binds. Chain is chain. So good action is also a chain, Swami says. People, that's why they are very fanatical. I want to do good, and how much good you can do? And you think actually there will come a time when there is only good in the world? No. There will never be a time. The world is always a mixture of good and evil. Then why should I do good? You will do good to counteract the evil. And after that, actually, you will have to go beyond good and evil. Sri Ramakrishna used to give a simple example. A thorn is stuck into your soul, right? A thorn is stuck into your soul. To remove the thorn, you pick up another thorn. And then you remove the first thorn. Then afterwards, you discard both the thorns. You don't preserve the second thorn because the second thorn helped you to remove the first thorn, which has actually pricked into your soul. Both are useless. You discard both of them. In the same way, bad action and good action, you will transcend action. Both actions you will be able to discard. And then actually you get established in your real state. That is nirvana. So longing for that nirvana, longing for that ultimate freedom should be there. So good action also is binding, I tell you. So people say, I am a good man and I always engage in good actions. I have done this much of help to the society. So many people praise me. I have earned this much of name and fame. It will also bind. Okay. The whole of the nature, the whole of the physical universe is to educate the soul. You will be able to overcome the pull of the evil and negative thoughts and negative actions by doing good actions and by generating positive thought. And afterwards, you discard both negative and positive and you go beyond these two. The relative world. The world is relative. Absolute world actually beyond. Perfection is beyond the relative. So you'll be able to transcend the relative world, relative existence. Relative existence means not just the physical universe. Your body and mind also form the part of the nature, part of the relative world. So that's what the nirvana. Buddha has attained nirvana, Sri Ramakrishna has attained samadhi, Ramana Maharshi has attained self-realization. What does that mean? What would be that kind of experience? What was the state of mind? They have transcended the relative, they have touched the absolute, which is the infinite. It is there in all of us, but it has not come into our experience. Through action, we want to attain to that state. So good action is also binding, that you need to remember. But first we have to engage in good actions, like helping the society as much as we can, because good action is not as, it doesn't actually bind you as much as a bad action binds. You will overcome the good, bad through the good, and then afterwards you will go beyond both and good and bad. And Swami is saying here, work incessantly, but let not the work create a ripple in your mind. Let not the work create a samskara in your mind. Samskara will be formed only when you expect the result. Once you learn to work with perfect detachment, okay, no samskara it will be able to form. Well, I am not interested in the result of action, whether it's good or bad, okay, it doesn't matter. So once you work in that freedom, and the work that you do, it doesn't actually create any samskara, it doesn't bind you in any way. So work incessantly, but don't do slave's work, Swami says. You are engaged in action, but the action doesn't bind you, because you are not interested in the fruit. You are working in freedom, and slowly you will be able to work out your salvation. So action, which is actually by nature, is entangling. You are totally involved in the action, but you are not entangled. But today, involving in action is entanglement. We expect something, we don't get what we desire, and so we feel sorrow, we feel misery. That is slave's action. So it's very important that you know how to act in this world. So is it possible? Is it one day just all of a sudden? No. We have to work towards that. We have to come out of this bondage, we have to come out of this slavery. So every time when you engage yourself in action, you just look into yourself and find out what is the motive that is actuating you into that action. What is the motive that goads you into that particular action? So do I desire anything from this action, from the work that I do? You just see, no, you just remove that desire. No, I don't care for the result. I will only work for the sake of work. Let it come. If it comes, it's okay. If it doesn't come also, it's okay, fine with me. An individual who actually can say that, and he'll be free from fear. You just see your world, when you engage in an action, all the time the fear comes from this. Whether will I get what I expect of my action? Okay? That is only creating a fear. That is only makes you an inefficient worker. Okay? What is making you an inefficient worker is this expectation of the result. I am not saying that you should not take the fruit of your action, but because you set your mind on that, that creates a fear in you. What if I don't get? What if I don't get? So much I'm investing, so much of time I'm investing, so much of effort I'm investing. So investing means you are expecting means you are a slave. Okay, I work for the sake of work. I don't care for the results. A hero can say that. Swami is asking us to become heroes of work. This is the secret of work, he is saying. Nature is for the soul, it's not a simple thing. Nature is for the soul. Sankhya says it is, and soul is not for the nature. As Swamiji said, that the whole of the physical universe is to educate yourself. It's only a moral gymnasium. It's like a dog's curly tail. At one point of time, he says that you cannot straighten it out. So it's very important that you understand the whole of the physical universe is meant for the education of the soul. Once the soul has learnt all the lessons, it doesn't need the physical universe anymore. You don't need your physical body anymore. You don't need your mind anymore. You are established in your real nature. You have established yourself in the highest state of your being. And thereafter, there is no rebirth. You have become free once for all from the clutches of matter, from this samsara. You have gone beyond the cycle of birth and death. That is nirvana, that is self-realization. That is the highest state that is possible to every one of us. But today we have identified ourselves so deeply with the physical body and the mind that what am I if I am not this nature? What am I if I am not the body and the mind? That doubt is there. That doubt actually is coming to us because the soul for which actually self-realization of the soul that we are actually seeking to touch actually is not in our experience, is not even an imagination, because avang manasa gochara. It forms the subject for the mind, but mind cannot be the soul cannot be the object for the mind. So that is the thing. It animates us. It's actually, even now also, that spirit only is running the body and the mind, but we are not aware of that. That's all. So by through selfless action, the slowly, that latent and dormant, that infinite power, the soul actually slowly manifests. You just feel for yourself. There is no, actually, you just engage yourself in 100% absolute selfless action and you will derive some kind of joy. You will derive some kind of happiness. And make it a habit to derive that kind of happiness every time, slowly. And you will derive more and more happiness, then there will come a time and you will feel so much of bliss from within that because you are transcended the physical and the psychological, you will touch that infinite dimension of your being. So selfless action will help us to reach to that of spiritual perfection. That is actually the science of karma yoga. You just see people talk about love in the world. Most of the times, it's not real love. It is attraction between, few sets of particles. I am a set of particles and you are a set of particles. There is attraction between you and me. And this set of particles is getting attracted to that set of particles, and that set of particles is getting attracted to this set of particles. It's a morbid attachment to the flesh, Swami says. Morbid attachment to the flesh insinuating as love. Love doesn't cause any pain, he says. If it causes pain, it's not love. Love is always unconditional. It doesn't expect anything in return. A mother gives her love to children. Is there any pain there? Does she expect anything in return? That is actually purest love, which is very close to God's love. And we use this word very loosely without understanding the true import of this word. And there is an attraction between the two sexes, let us say. A boy actually got attracted towards a girl. So what he does basically, she should do only what he expects her to do. If she doesn't do, he has fallen in love with an individual of the opposite sex. But now if she doesn't do whatever he wants her to do, then actually he'll get pain, he'll get hurt. That means what? It's not love. You want her to be your slave. Okay? You want her to be your slave. And there actually the pain comes. Most of the time we use this word love, but that cannot be. Love means it's unconditional. It just gives. It doesn't expect anything in return. And that love comes only through detachment. To love you, I don't get attached to you. But that morbid attachment to the flesh, actually, you try to baptize with the high-sounding word of love without knowing actually what it means to love an individual. Love doesn't expect anything in return. And so if you understand that, only true love becomes possible when my individual is detached. I don't have anything to expect from you. I just love you for the sake of love. Can we say that? If you don't expect anything in return, you can love the individual 100%. But when there is expectation, it is slavery. And the individual doesn't do what you want her or him to do, and then it causes pain to you. So it's very important that you understand the signs of love also. Okay? This is slavery. At least if you understand that I am in slavery, the pain is coming because I am in slavery, then you will not actually do the same thing. You don't do the mistake saying that this is love, this is attachment. At least know that you are attached. At least you know that you are attached. So and let me make myself free from this attachment. Okay? That's what Swami is saying beautifully, that this love is not real love, but it's actually morbid attachment to the flesh, but you're trying to baptize it with the high-sounding word of love. So he goes on to say that actually, work insistently, let not the ripple conquer the mind. Work as if you are a stranger in this world. Okay? As if you're sojourner. We have made it a destination. That is another problem that we have done. There is so much of ignorance, that ignorance is the root cause of all our suffering and all the evil that is there in the world. We have made it our destination. There is something like death which snatches us away from this world. We have to get out of this world. It's only a brief journey. You are only a sojourner here. It is only, dharmasala. It's a way station. It's not the destination. People are cultivating desires in such a way as if it is the ultimate destination, as if they are going to be here forever, as if they are going to enjoy the things that they accumulate for thousands and thousands of years. That is the level of greed that is there in the world. That means you have completely become, you have no perspective at all as to how things are happening. Though you see the things all around, people are dying for various reasons. The life is too short. Then how can you cultivate that much of greed? How can you have this much of greed? The things that you accumulated are more than sufficient actually for you actually to satisfy your minimum needs for this life. But still, like greed means you are not able to see, you don't know actually what else to do. What else to do with yourself. So he is saying, so work as if you are a stranger in this land, as a sojourner. And Then once you know that you are only a stranger, you are only a sojourner, you will not get attached to things. Attachment comes because you have made it your destination. You have made it your destination, that's why so much of attachment is there. Once you know that it is only a way station, you will not get attached. I am here for a few days and afterwards I will have to quit the world, I will have to leave the world. And then actually no attachment comes to any individual or any physical thing. And when you are in such freedom, you really enjoy this life also. And you will have both this life and the next also. As you are not attached, actually, your soul will get liberated. If you are intensely attached or highly detached or completely detached, even if you don't attain complete detachment, the life here becomes beautiful for you. Okay? You will experience life in full measure. Now we experience life in a short measure because we are attached to so many things. Things don't happen the way we want, and every time it is suffering because we are slaves. The expectation means slave. Working with attachment means slave. So all this slavery actually is bringing us tremendous misery and tremendous suffering. So every act of love, Swamiji beautifully says here, brings happiness. There is no act of love which doesn't bring peace and blessedness as its reaction. What is the proof that you are engaged in love? What is the proof that you are engaged in detached action? A love or detached action will bring you blessedness and happiness. There is no act of pure love which doesn't actually make you feel happy from within, which doesn't bring you some quantum of peace. You will increase slowly in peace and felicity. Only when you know how to work with love. Only action done in love and action done in freedom actually helps us to achieve liberation, not otherwise. We all know actually the definition that we give in our culture is Sat Chit Ananda. Sat Chit Ananda. Sat means real existence, absolute existence. This is relative existence. This is not Sat. The thing that we see through our senses, through our mind, is not the real existence. This is only the existence which is created by our mind, which is created by 5 indriya, Shabda, Sparsa, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. Actually have created a world for us. That is the only world we know, unfortunately, because beyond these 5 senses lies the absolute. So this is relative. So this is real existence. No, this is not real existence, this is relative existence. And Sat Chit. Chit means actually knowledge. What knowledge? Absolute knowledge. And the knowledge that we gain by reading books and through all the experiences of the world, actually it is relative knowledge. The information that we have stored up in our brains actually is a relative knowledge. The knowledge about, not knowledge about the absolute. Knowledge about the absolute cannot be had through the mind. Only when you drop the mind, you are in the absolute. So any information that you gather, even by reading scriptures, maybe there's spiritual stuff, that is also information. You have read 10 scriptures, you have read all the Puranas, what that? You have loaded your brain with spiritual information. Other books that we see is secular information. Information is there in the brain. As long as there is information in the brain will be there, the mind will be there. As long as there is mind, you are in bondage for sure. So just by reading a few scriptures, by hearting a few slokas, you will not become perfect. This way, Vedas is clearly said, Paravidya, Aparavidya. Even reading Vedas also they consider as Aparavidya, because you are accumulating information about something, about God. But this is information about God, but it's not God. That's why clearly Sri Ramakrishna says, by squeezing the almanac, you don't get rain. Okay, by hearting all the Vedas, you don't get the truth. Truth comes only through practice, through sadhana, and through abhyasa. So Vedas actually point out you the path, how to traverse the path. They will not show the destination. They will travel the path. You have to tread the path and reach the destination. That is sadhana. Treading the path is sadhana. Now you have known the path and engage yourself in sadhana and attain to realization. So information actually is not the real thing. Experience is the real thing, and long for experience. So the real existence, real knowledge, and real bliss are love. Sat Chit Ananda. Ananda that we experience in this world is relative ananda, is little happiness. Okay? Everything that you touch, it brings you little happiness and also a mass of misery in this world. Little unhappiness also. Maybe sometimes both are same quantum. 50% happiness and 50% misery. But actually 75% misery and 25% happiness if anything you touch in the world. Is it? Okay? 25, 25, 75 is okay? Anything that you touch. Okay, you want to educate yourself with the hope of actually alleviating your suffering. You have thought actually by educating yourself you will be able to overcome all the suffering. Have you succeeded? People go for marriage in the hope that it will enhance your experience of life. It will add more happiness to your life. That is the reason we do things, anything that we do, whether it is job or marriage or children Okay, but any of the things that we do now actually, are they helping us to enhance our experience of life? Are they helping us to increase the quantum of joy? Are they helping, or reverse is happening? Reverse is happening, I believe. So that means the world, it's not there. Most of the times the reverse is happening because this is only a relative happiness. A little drops of happiness God kept here and there, that is actually attracting us. That is only a bait, temptation, advertisement. So you need to understand that. Absolutely. That's why all the great philosophers, beginning with Puranic characters like Prahlada, they all classified the world as full of suffering and full of sorrow, full of poison. Prahlada says in one of his poems, actually, beautifully in Telugu, he says, Purna Krura Durvara Durbhara Samsara Davagnikin Verato, he says to the Lord. When Narsimha farm, God appeared before him, it was so terrible and nobody could go near the Lord's farm. And Lakshmi also could not go near the farm. She said that I never even imagined that a farm of this kind would be possible to my husband, Narayana. So she could not approach him, he was so terrific. And Prahlada could go near him, and I says actually, he just dismisses, I don't care for this terrible form of you. Brahma was shivering, Indra was shivering, all the gods were shivering to see that form. So Prahlada, ultimately they say, first they ask Lakshmi, they ask actually Indra, they ask so many people to go near and try to appease the anger of the Lord. Ajata Satru, actually, God has no enemy in this world. How God can become angry? God can never become angry. But in this instance, God also became angry because this demon, Hiranyakashipu, had tortured him so much. His own beloved devotee, Prahlada, was tortured so much by his father. His ignorance was so thick that Hiranyakashipu, the first time Lord got terribly angry, and that anger actually got into a form that is a Nrsimha form. And nobody could approach that terrific form. And after seeing this form, everybody was shivering, and Prahlada says, I don't care for this form, I am not getting frightened, but I am frightened by the samsara that you have created. That actually frightens me. Purna Krura Durvara Durbhara Samsara Davagnikin Veratun. I don't fear this terrible form of you, O Lord, but I fear the samsara that you have created. That is so frightening and so terrible. All these philosophers have said down, Buddha up to Swami Vivekananda. But we have not heard to their statement. We think actually they are pessimists. We think they are pessimists. Are they pessimists? The people who develop Vairagya are the pessimists? Swamiji clearly says in his Jnana Yoga lectures, Vedanta neither admits pessimism nor optimism. Vedanta is always a statement of fact. Learn to see things as they are. How much of happiness is there? What is worth pursuing? What is worth pursuing? What is not worth pursuing? We are not seeing actually. We are not using the faculty of discrimination. What we should seek for in this world. Everybody actually living in a delusion that for others only, mishaps happen only in the others' families. Okay? Tragedies happen in my neighbor's family. In my family, tragedies won't happen. Okay? I am especially blessed by the divine, you are thinking. So this is actually false kind of optimism. You can't have that kind of optimism. Be realistic and see things as they are. The Vedanta is meant for that. It is actually advocates pessimism, neither advocates pessimism nor advocates optimism. Vedanta is a statement of fact. This is how the things are. You are not able to see. That's what actually our Rishis have said that. So they are not pessimists. You should understand that that is the real nature of the world. And then why do we seek happiness in this world, which is impermanent? The Lord says in the Gita clearly that Ashashvatam, this world is impermanent. Anityam asukam imam prapya bhajasvavam. It is anitya and asukha. The being, the Krishna, the Supreme Lord who has created the world, himself is saying that the world is asukha. Himself, the creator of the universe, himself is saying the world, the samsara is asukha. By nature it is asukha. Bhajasvavam, seek me. Oh Arjuna, only one prayojana, only one objective, only one goal you can have. That is to seek me, to know me. God actually is looking for only one thing. He doesn't look for anything. In fact, he doesn't need this universe. It's just a play. But if at all he is looking for anything, actually he was looking for only one thing. That is, he is looking for people who have the wisdom to seek the Creator through the creation. He is seeking for people who have the wisdom to seek the Creator through the creation. This much of creation has happened. We have ignored that creation and we are so fascinated by our own petty creations, all these things, right? The invested of genius, that also has become possible only through the Lord. We can't do anything on our own. Because only it becomes possible to invent or create something when you have prana in your being. And that prana, who is the support of that prana, is the soul, consciousness. Only he permitted you to create these things, to invent these things. So everything goes to him ultimately. Everything belongs to him. I'm not saying that we need not enjoy these things and we should consider everything as Maya and run away from this technology. I'm not saying that. But the technology also became possible only in and through the Lord, because He has given you the life that you are, the prana, the mind, the senses, everything is being supported by Him. And ignoring Him, who is the fundamental of the fundamental, and if you just run after these material things and His created things, and if you forget the Creator by being fascinated by the creation, then it's a tragedy. That's what the tragedy that we are experiencing in our society. So it's very important that we understand things as they are. So Sat Chit Ananda, the definition that they have given for the Lord, for the Supreme, is absolute existence, absolute knowledge, and absolute bliss or love. This is only relative world. You cannot have complete knowledge here. You complete have the highest happiness here in the physical and the psychological. And it is not real existence, it's only relative existence, because today it is there, tomorrow it's not there. The universe will go on, but I am not there. What is the use? Yeah, I will die. Okay, universe is relatively permanent. Am I there as long as the universe exists? I am not there. Tomorrow I am not there. And Swami says actually beautifully, who certifies that the sun exists? The external may be very grand, but who is the person that certifies that this is the universe? We are certifying the world, right? If I myself not there, then whether the universe exists or doesn't exist? It doesn't exist. In relation to me, it doesn't exist because I am dead, I am no more. So, the whole of the phenomenal universe is we. The sun actually the brightest object in this universe. So grand and so beautiful to look at. Such a powerful object. But who certifies the existence of the sun? It's we. Well, I am there, I am saying the sun exists there in the sky, out there, and the sun exists. Suppose if I am not there to certify, does the sun exist? It doesn't exist, that's all. It's you are important, Swami says, because the seed is important, not the seen. The observer is important, not the observed. But we have forgotten the observer. Who is the observer? I am the observer. What am I? Who am I? That is the question, the most profound question that you need to put. But today the only consolation that we have is all are like, in the same level. That is the consolation that we have. Everybody pursuing the way they are pursuing, the goals are objective and pursuing the world in a certain way. They are in the majority. But I want to tell you that their perception is not right. The perception which Buddha had, perception which Shankaracharya had when he said that the whole universe is Maya, perception that Vivekananda had, or Ramana Maharshi had, the right kind of perception. And we need to enhance our perception. We need to come to those conclusions. We need to subscribe their views in toto. Okay? Then actually a little dispassion comes, then it becomes easy for us to tread the path of truth. Otherwise, the samsara actually is so much of misery. Again and again we'll come into the world. Sri Aurobindo says a beautiful word that actually statement is made that the future of the earth depends upon India. What does it mean? The future of the earth depends on India. Okay, only through spiritual knowledge, because it removes suffering in toto once for all by helping the individual attain to his divine nature. All the sufferings can be removed of every individual only through spiritual knowledge, and that knowledge is available in abundance only in this culture and this country. So we need to preserve that, and we need to give it to all, not just for Indians. We need to give it to the whole world. We need to spiritualize the whole of the mankind. That is the only way to get actually help every individual come out of the suffering that he or she is in. For that, towards that, we need to strive. First, we need to cultivate. Afternoon, I attended a program in that Balaji Bhavan. They conducted competition Bhagavad Gita with children, and they wanted me to distribute prizes to them. So they're the same thing. It's very important that we preserve the spiritual knowledge. And this is the highest knowledge. We are not a third world country. We have the highest wisdom and the highest knowledge. We are the most advanced civilization and advanced race on the planet Earth. Because the knowledge that we have, the perception that we have, the understanding that we have on life is the highest understanding. What our rishis have said is the absolute truth. What they have mentioned is. But today, ignoring all that spiritual knowledge, we are just want to materialize ourselves in the model of the Western nations. It doesn't suit us. Swamiji again and again says, one man's food is another man's poison. Those ideals will not suit you. Hold on to your spirituality, hold on to your spirituality, hold on to your spirituality. So that is the only way if you really want to remove the suffering in the world. No, the whole world is going like this. So let them go, the whole world go. But what is that to you? What you really want in life? You seek it for yourself. So only when this spiritual knowledge is there, that's the highest knowledge, that's the highest help. We have to help all the people, we have to bring them to that level where they can receive spiritual knowledge and put these spiritual ideas into practice. And sooner we do that, the better for the whole mankind. First, for that, we need to spiritualize ourselves. We need to learn how to walk. Learn to walk with detachment. Learn to walk without expecting the results of your action. And learn to work in love and through love. And learn to work in freedom and through freedom. Okay? Once you have developed this capacity, the work will not have any binding effect on you. Every work that you perform through this detachment removes one link from that long chain of karma which binds us down. Slowly, slowly, you are removing link after link, link after link, link after link. Then there will come a time you will actually remove the whole link, all the links, and the chain is removed for you. The chain of bondage. You have attained nirvana, you have attained the spiritual perfection. And that's how actually the work helps us. Karma Yoga actually is a beautiful science, is a beautiful subject. The Lord says in the Gita that why I engage myself in action, though I don't need to act. I have nothing to gain from this world, but still I am always alert, always doing action. Yadyacharti shrestha tatta devetaro jana sayat pramanam kurute lokastha dhanuvartate. Just as the noble people do the work, all others actually will imitate them, will follow them. Yadyacharati shrestha tatta devetaro jana sayat pramanam kurute. Whatever the standard that they set, the rest of the men will follow them. So Krishna is saying that I have to set the standard for people, how to walk and how to engage oneself in action. Inaction is not the way. Karma sannyasa is not the way. Karma phala sannyasa. The Bhagavad Gita doesn't talk about karma sannyasa. Bhagavad Gita talks about karma phala sannyasa. Krishna was instructing Arjuna. Arjuna wanted to renounce the work itself. Krishna is saying him, karma phala sannyasa, oh Arjuna, seek. Don't actually bother about the result. Whether the war will be in favor of whether we will win the war or we won't win the war, that is secondary. We are also in a kind of battle. We are on the Kurukshetra. Life itself is a battle. Okay? Whether we win the war or we don't win the war, secondary. Just be detached. Consider yourself as an instrument, as an agent in the hands of the divine. Swamiji talks about the personal God also. So you are finding it difficult to detach yourself and to not to expect the fruit of action. Then actually, if you have a personal God, if you have Ishtadaivam, you can do this thing. So whatever the action that you do, you offer it to your Ishtadaivam. Okay, for example, Rama is your Ishtadaivam. So whatever actions that you have performed in the past, actually, you offer it to him. Whatever you are going to do in the future also, you will offer it to him. Then the work that you do will not be binding upon you. Through that kind of surrender, you will be able to do free. You will be able to make yourself free. And you will be free from inwardly. You will be free from within. That kind of freedom actually you need to long for. This is also help. So I don't have the strength actually to practice this kind of detachment. Okay, whenever I engage in action actually, my mind actually invariably going towards the result, the fruit, the final outcome. So if you feel yourself weak like that, if you have a personal God or Ishtadaivam, leave everything to him. Krishna is your chosen deity. Whatever the action that you performed, you just offer the fruit of action to him. All the work that has done, actually, he has done through this body. Either you consider yourself as an instrument, an agent in the hands of the divine, or just offer the fruits of action at the feet of the divine. By constantly cultivating this kind of attitude, there will come a time then you will be able to engage in action with total freedom and total love. And once you attain to that, you are free from within, you have attained nirvana, there is nothing more to attain thereafter. You are in bliss, you are in that infinite dimension of your being. That is a blessed state. To gain to that blessed state is the objective of all of us.